right there, my friend.
Yeah, how about that? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another installment of Military History Chronicles. Got myself and my friend Will there.
Yup.
Today, let's talk about the Civil War. Man, love talking about that stuff.
I know you do. That's why I asked you. I proposed you the question yesterday. Let's do it. Let's talk about
exactly.
Gettysburg. Let's talk about Vicksburg. Let's talk about some good stuff. It's an
Yeah,
amazing
exactly.
part of American history, and we have 4th of July around the corner.
Exactly. Aaron Loss, what's up? I see Jim Everett. I see Rox is out there, and of course Chardol. So I see
Rock Chardol's out there wanting the link already.
And no, you're not getting a link, so we'll just answer that right off the rip. Real quick, before I even get into this, for those of you who live in the Central Valley of California, I mean, it's I don't even know how far south it is, but I know it's going to get all the way up to Redding. I know our buddy Michael Roeder, he lives up there in lives up in Redding. It's supposed to get really bad, but anyways, yeah. For this next week, it's gonna get like really bad as far as the heat is concerned. Something that we're just not used to. I mean, of course, those of you who live in Arizona, you know that's a daily thing. I get it, but here in the Central Valley, it's not normal, and we're supposed to be in the hundreds for like over a week.
Yeah,
so
you're gonna be harder than us, man.
You know, all I can say is, you know, just a little public service announcement. Make sure you check up on your friends, family. If you see people maybe on the side of the road or whatever it may be, looking like maybe they're thirsty or something, just get them a bottle of water or something. There's a lot, and especially in California, there's a lot of people who are down on their luck, if you will. And, you know, if you could do something to try to help them as far as giving them water, that would be excellent, because it's not going to be pleasant, and it could be deadly, to be honest with you, with how hot it's going to be. So,
oh yeah, and
go out there if you can, take care of your fellow man. That would be awesome.
If you want any kind of quick tips on heat stroke, you're going to feel confused, obviously very warm. You'll stop sweating. Actually,
you'll stop sweating.
And you'll be agitated. If you see that, recognize it for what it is, and get yourself indoors. Drink some water. Take a nice towel, put it over your neck. Nice cold water towel, and you should be good to go. And don't forget your electrolytes either.
Exactly. Keep your electrolytes balanced, because you can do some pretty serious damage to your body if you keep chugging down the water without, you know, having that balance. 100%. Yeah, it could get a little bit weird.
And Marcus, 100% right.
There was a lot of new when I was in the Air Force, as a matter of fact, where there was a few airmen who were dying because they drank too much water.
Yeah,
that was a big thing, because at first no one knew what was going on. Come to find out, it wasn't the lack of water; it was too much of it.
And when I was
it killed a few airmen.
Not to go too much longer on this, but when I was
go ahead. Sorry.
When I was a young medic, I used to always say, drink your water, have your salt packet.
Yeah.
Don't have one without the other. Make sure you got your electrolytes. But anyways, so
there's stuff out there called Drip Drop. That stuff's pretty good. Drop it in your
Pedialyte.
Yeah, that stuff's good. Pedialyte will work. And D-Shot, yes. Also take care of your pets, man. If you're a pet owner, man, that's one of your responsibilities.
100%.
Make sure you're taking care of your pets, because you know they got to be out in that stuff too. So help them out. Make some shade for them if you can. Of course, make sure they got plenty of water. Bring them inside if you can for a little while. You know, they could tolerate the heat a little bit better than us, but hey, you still got to make sure you're taking care of them. All right. Now that we're done with that, look at that. Today's July 1st. All right.
Time is moving so quick.
I know. I don't know what's going on, but what makes July 1st important? Well, 161 years ago.
161.
161. That is over a century and a half ago.
Yes, sir.
Was the first day of the Battle of Gettysburg.
Right.
We'll go ahead. Do we want to start? Yeah, let's go. We'll stick with Gettysburg, because
now, I think it's probably a good choice. I don't think a lot of people know about Vicksburg.
No, they don't. But it's important, because you got to highlight both of these, because the Union victories came day after each other.
Exactly.
On July 3rd,
One after
the
another.
Union declared victory. I guess you could say, well, achieved victory on the battlefield on July 3rd. And then the following day, on July 4th, Vicksburg finally capitulated under the siege led by General Ulysses S. Grant.
One of our
But we'll
favorites.
get into the process of how it got to the siege, and then go from there.
Anybody, by the way, did anybody recognize people that were in the thumbnail there? Anybody
Yeah,
got?
yeah. That's good.
Yeah. I'll Venmo you $25 if you can identify all those guys. There's two pretty obvious ones.
Yeah, there is two very obvious ones.
One is Grant.
One is kind of.
And one is Lee. Now you
Yeah,
got
okay, we'll get now. What's the other two? Let's see.
now you got to figure out the other two. Who are those
Let's
guys?
see. Who knows? Okay, Cameron
Oh, here
Tyson.
comes somebody.
I knew he was going to do that.
All
I
right.
knew he was going to come.
Rename the other. I'll Venmo you $25, man. Let's give me your damn Cash App. I got you.
Yep. D-Shot
No,
says Biden. Let's
You
see if
on,
anyone
man.
can get the fourth guy. Cameron, be quiet. Be
No,
quiet,
Cameron's gonna take this
Let's
one.
see. Let's see if anyone could get the fourth guy. The guy that's on the far left. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
All right.
You're out of here, man.
All right, give me your Cash App. You got $25 coming your way.
Goodness gracious.
This
I
guy.
said, Cameron, don't answer.
This guy.
I think we're a little bit delayed anyways. It's all good. No worries.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
yes,
yeah. We probably are.
there's a reason why. On the left, I have General Pemberton and also General Grant. Those are the two opposing generals at Vicksburg. And on the right was General Meade and General Lee, who were the opposing generals at the Battle of Gettysburg. So there you go. Interesting story about, we'll get into this a little bit. Pemberton, he was actually he was a northerner. He was actually born in Pennsylvania. But
Technically, Lee was kind of a northerner as well.
No, he's from Virginia. He's from Virginia. Yeah.
Anyways.
But he married. His wife was from the South. I believe was she a Georgian? Either a Georgian or a Virginian. Anyways, she was all about the secessionists and everything. So he kind of towed the line. Matter of fact, there was a lot of people in the Confederate government who had they had a weary eye towards Pemberton for the simple fact that, he was born and raised in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
He really wasn't your staunch secessionist. So yeah, they had their doubts. They had their doubts.
He was more soldier than he was a hardliner.
He really wasn't a soldier, to be honest with you. He was more of a political. Yeah,
to be honest, a lot of these guys weren't soldiers either. They were just.
And it's the same with Thomas in the North, exactly. But no, Thomas was actually from the South, but he became a Northern general, if I'm not mistaken, right? Thomas was actually a Southerner, but he had loyalty to the Union. He was famous. He was also known as the Rock of Chickamauga during the Battle of Chickamauga, right before the Battle of Chattanooga. Yeah, but it's cool. Anyways, let's get into Gettysburg. Okay, July 1st. Lee, this is his second. This is his second venture into the North.
Right.
His first didn't turn out too well at a place called Antietam. It's actually Sharpsburg, Maryland. That's the actual city. Because the Confederates will name the battles after cities that it was close by. The Union will identify the closest body of water, a river, whatever it may be. Just like the Battle of Bull Run compared to the Battle of Manassas.
Exactly.
The Battle of Sharpsburg compared to the Battle of Antietam. And there's a whole bunch of other different ones as well. I think Fredericksburg pretty much stayed Fredericksburg. I don't think it was the Battle of Was at what's the river over there by Fredericksburg?
Oh shit!
Is it the Rapidan? It's one of those. Either I don't. It's not the Potomac. I think it's the Rapidan.
No, it's definitely not the Potomac.
No, that's further up north. But anyways, so this is like I said, his first venture up north. Didn't turn out too well. He got bloodied at Antietam. The Rappahannock. That's what it was. The Rappahannock. Yeah. Thank you, Cameron. Even though the Union won the field at Antietam,
oh man,
they had it. You know, that's where McClellan was. You know, because of him not being able to follow up in chasing the Confederates down, he wind up getting sacked after the Battle of Antietam. But they wanted to. General Lee had another idea of going up to the north again for a couple of reasons. First off, he was trying to relieve the plight that was befallen the state of Virginia.
Right.
The state of Virginia, because of the battles, pretty much all the battles in the East, for the most part, were happening in Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And their
right on his home turf.
Their farmland, you know, they couldn't grow any crops. Well, for two reasons. The battles. Second reason is they just couldn't grow enough. They couldn't sustain.
No, yeah.
So he was trying to relieve the Virginian farmers so they could be able to grow their crops, make a living, and of course, additionally, to feed the army of Northern Virginia.
No,
secondly,
I think oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, secondly, he was going up north because he wanted to force the hand of those in the north who were beginning to get war weary. You know, if he could have some success up north, maybe they could get him to the negotiating table.
There you go.
And then, you know, try to figure out a way to end the war in favorable terms for the Confederacy.
Right.
So that there you go. That's kind of the laying the foundation of the Battle of Gettysburg. As Lee was marching up north, at that time, he only had, if I'm not mistaken, he had 2 corps, right? The 1st and 2nd Corps. I think that was it. The 1st Corps was, wasn't it Ewell? And the 2nd Corps was Longstreet because there was no more. And then, they combined them because once Longstreet was killed in the Battle of Chancellorsville, which was only a few months before. Was it a month or 2 before? Something like that. I think it was a month before, like a month before.
Month before. And they went up north to Gettysburg.
So instead of having 3 corps, they combined them. So they went down to 2 corps.
And don't forget, they pretty much had a lost battalion of cavalry doing some scouting mission, and they never came back until
Longstreet had the 1st, and Ewell had the 2nd. Yeah,
right. Until they didn't come back until July 2nd or 3rd, and by that time it was done. Hill and Ewell.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Hill a division commander under Longstreet? Pretty sure
he was too.
I'm pretty sure. I have to. Let me see. Does this map have it? Let me see if this map has it. It might. Let me take a gander real quick.
One of those guys handed their sword to.
Yeah, see, they're not showing it on this one. I know where I could find it. This is kind of a generic picture that I have, but I don't really want to use that one yet. Pretty sure Hill was a division commander under Longstreet. He matter of fact, he led the charge. We'll get into it. He led the charge to Little Round Top, if I'm not mistaken. But I think Ewell was the 2nd Corps commander, and Longstreet was the 1st. This is Ewell's 1st Corps command, if I'm not mistaken.
Jeb Stuart. Stuart was
okay. We're going to get into that. Jeb Stuart was in charge of the cavalry.
There you go.
So he was detached. He was part of the cavalry. Here's an issue. Especially back in those days, what was the primary mission of the cavalry? We'll say Civil War time. What was their primary duty?
Anybody in the chat want to answer that? You don't want
anyone. If not, we can answer. It's not a big deal. Other than Cameron.
Other than Cameron, no. Come on, Jim.
See, it takes a little while because when you ask the chat, it takes a little while for people to actually answer. Well, the primary mission of the cavalry, it's a couple of things. You screen. Mm-hmm. You help screen your advancing army.
Scout.
Yep, exactly. In other words, they're protecting the marching troops who are trying to get to wherever they're going and then form the ranks. Also, they're used to scout, okay, to find out the deposition of the enemy.
Yep.
Where are they located? Where are they marching to? How big is their unit? Who is attached to them? Try to find out what corps is attached to this. In other words, it's intelligence. Unfortunately, but during his march up north, I'm talking about the Army of Northern Virginia, Jeb Stuart decided to kind of go on some name hunting. He wanted to make his name known.
He was trying to do his own, but he discovered where Meade's position was.
But it was already too late.
Because
Because they were already engaged. So here's the problem: you got the cavalry. Jeb Stuart, who was an excellent cavalry officer.
Oh yeah, probably the best in the entire military. Not just the South, but the Union as well.
Yeah. I think what's his name will argue that. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. His
name. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Mike, I'm in Virginia. Drop that link. Look at that. We got a Virginian in here.
You want to hop in and talk some Civil War?
Hey, Mike, you want to come in? Yeah, I'll put the total leak out there. If you know anything about the Civil War, hey, I'll bring you in. Let's
do it, man.
Oh my God, why can't I freaking man?
Oh shit, I know. Okay, hold on.
Now I'm getting pissed off because I just got.
Keep going.
It was a long day today, man.
It kind of was. In more ways than one.
Damn, dude, it was nuts today.
It was nuts before that too.
Oh, what the heck was it? There it is. Can I forget that?
Buford?
No. Nathan Bedford Forrest.
I was about to say that.
That's the guy.
Name. I was going to say him or Stoneman next.
That dude had absolutely no military training whatsoever, but the dude
he could lead troops. That's all that matters. It's just like talking about baseball. You don't have to play the game if you know what's going on.
The guy wasn't a good guy by any stretch of of the imagination, but as far as a military leader, he motivated his men. He got the best out of them, and he led from the front. He led from the front. Jeb Stuart, you could say the same thing. He inspired his troops. He led from the front, but he failed General Lee, unfortunately, because he was not screening for the Confederates. And the thing is, the Confederates were spread out pretty bad. They were not in they were separated by miles. You had General Ewell. He was in the northern part of Pennsylvania, north of Gettysburg. Longstreet was still far out to the west. And because they were separated, they weren't ready to meet the Union Army, which were coming up their rear a little bit more to the east, of course.
Yes.
Because ever since Lee had started his march north from Chancellorsville after the Battle of Chancellorsville, Hancock was sacked, and General Meade became the new general of the Army of the Potomac.
One thing to put this all in perspective real quick. When General Lee marched north to Gettysburg, his troops and his wagon trains and all that, it was 57 miles.
Yeah, it's incredible how long these wagon trains were to sustain an army as big as it was. I mean, I don't know how they did it back then, man. Honestly,
57 miles long. Are you serious?
Can you think?
And then by the time they found out that Meade was out there, it was a long story short there. I mean, it was because at that time we didn't have the signal corps we have now.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't learn until Jeb Stuart came over, and then he was pissed at Jeb Stuart. Jeb Stuart actually handed in his sword. He said, "Here you go, have my sword." And said, "No, I need you right now. Come back to the battle." That's what
I don't know if that was in the movie. I don't know if that's like actual documented. It might be.
That supposedly happened in the real.
Fair enough. But yes, he did fail him because he wasn't able to let Lee know because Lee had no idea what was out in front of him, and his troops were scattered all over the place. So he sent out messages saying, "Hey, let's get back together. We'll meet." And I can't remember where they met. I think they were supposed. What is the name of the city? Let's see if it's in this map. There's a city to the west.
Yeah, it's just outside of Gettysburg.
Cashtown. That's where it was. Cashtown. They were supposed to meet up there. I will come up. Are you trying to say you want the link? Is that what you're trying to say?
The link. Yeah, I think he wants the link.
All right, we'll get into that. Well, let me get through this.
Mike, and we'll send out the link.
So yeah. Anyways, so the orders went out. Hey, we got to reform. Let's get everyone back together. We're too spread out because if Meade decides to attack, we're going to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, the North came up. They got into Gettysburg. Actually, they got to the north of Gettysburg, where they ran into Confederate force. But the orders of the day from Lee was don't engage in any kind of battle.
Right, exactly. Don't engage. Well, he didn't want to reveal his position at the time.
Right. Well, not only that, is he, again, because he didn't have his whole army together. He didn't have his army together.
And he was also, again, he was blinded. He didn't know where anybody was.
Right. So, unfortunately, the battle began not of his choosing, actually not of either of them's choosing.
Right.
And lo and behold, the Battle of the Gettysburg begins. The first day was a little bit of chaotic. Was pretty chaotic. Here, let me bring up the map real quick.
It was a push. Nobody won that day. Well, if anything, you could say that the South won that day.
The Confederates definitely won that day.
They pushed the Union off their keister.
Okay, here let's get into this. All right,
there we go.
You can't see it, but up north, this is where the Union Army initially was. They were all up here. Yeah, here's the fishhook. It eventually forms into that. But the Union were able to get all the way up here. But when Ewell came in, he was able to drive the Union Army back through the town, and then they eventually took the high ground at Cemetery Hill and also Culp's Hill.
Yep.
And that was kind of what the first day battle was in the northern part of Gettysburg. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, it eventually came down to the southern part. Goodness, how many corps did the Union have? I'm trying to remember. They had, I think, all in the first day. God, how many corps? I can't remember. I think it was over 5 corps worth of army was coming in.
Pretty much unleashed everything they had. Like this was it or nothing.
Exactly. And then what happened is it was all about the high ground. Okay. The high ground over there, again, was Cemetery Hill, and then along Cemetery Ridge, which traveled south all the way down to Little Round Top and Big Round Top. Actually, but the line actually ended at Little Round Top. The Confederates held Seminary Ridge. Again, it's high ground to the west of Gettysburg, southwest of Gettysburg. So each army, had taken their respective high ground. How was it going to turn out? Again, after day one, this is kind of how the line was after day one. You had what they called the fishhook over here. This was Culp's Hill. So you had the Union over here. They're protecting their right flank. Also, and then down over here at the far end of their left flank was Little Round Top. Yep. We'll get into that. Was made famous by the 20th Maine. Yep, the 20th Maine. And then, of course, opposing them, you had the Army of Northern Virginia. Couple of things here. The reason why Gettysburg was so important, I don't know if you guys can see it, but look how many roads. You had the Emmitsburg Road. You had the Taneytown Road. You had the Baltimore Turnpike. You had the Hanover. I don't know if that's a road or I think Hanover Road. You had the Cashtown Road. You had, I can't remember which road is up there. Oxford Road. These ones you don't hear. This one and this one you don't hear too much. But this is a key hub, transportation hub. So whoever took this city had access to be able to get to these roads because you needed roads to be able to march your army.
And just so you guys know, these roads were actually legit roads. They weren't like asphalt like we have today.
No.
But
What
they
do they
were
call
very
it? Macadam?
Yeah, and they were very wide. It was almost like a Roman road. It was gravel. They had railroad ties in there and everything. It
Yep.
was beautiful. You could move an army, and that's what happened here.
Yeah, it was 2 initially. I think it was the 1st and 11th Corps were the first
Mhm.
ones to arrive. Of course, you also had the Buford Cavalry. They're the ones that actually began the engagement. Was Buford's Cavalry until the 1st and 11th Corps showed up. The first corps, what was the first corps was commanded under the guy that was the general that got shot. I can't remember what his name was. 11th
Oh,
Corps was under O. Howard. I think the 5th Corps came in. That was under who is the 5th Corps? It used to be Meade's Corps. I think actually it was still Meade's Corps. The 2nd Corps, I think, was Hancock's Corps. The 3rd Corps, good old Reynolds. That's General
there
Reynolds. He's
we
one
go.
The 3rd Corps was commanded by none other than good old Uncle Dan Sickles. They call him, well, there's reasons why. He was a political general.
Sykes, yeah.
But yeah, good old Sickles, man. Or yeah, Sickles was interesting guy. That's a story for another day. Anyways, so that's what you had. So you had two large opposing armies getting ready to do battle here at Gettysburg. The second day, okay, kind of one of the most, well, I guess I shouldn't say, yeah, because Gettysburg was full of moments here. The Confederacy was determining, how were we going to do this plan of attack?
Right.
Well, what it was going to be was they were going to come in from the north, try to flank them from the right, and they were also going to come up over here and flank them from the left. They were going to flank them. They weren't going to mess around with the middle too much. There was a little bit of action, but nothing as serious as what was happening over here on Culp's Hill.
Yep.
And over here on the Little Round Top.
And in case
now there's a big debate, about Longstreet was trying to convince General Lee to go around instead of trying to attack Little Round Top. He wanted to go around it, but Lee did not want to do that. He wanted him to take Little Round Top.
Do you want to explain the fish hook?
No, it's just the shape of it. That's all. That's
Well,
that's all it is.
So there's a little bit more to it. They were protecting their artillery there in the middle.
Oh, you're talking about the northern part. Yeah. They're protecting the flanks. Yeah, because they had that was the Cemetery Hill.
Yeah.
100%. Yep. There was a little bit of artillery here on Little Round Top, but not quite as much because
too much.
Because of the terrain.
Not anywhere near as much they had concentrated in the center. Which,
a matter of fact, the Confederacy
later
they actually got up to Cemetery Hill, but then they were fought back. It was a brutal battle up there.
They actually fought hand to hand. Actually,
yes, it was. I mean, a lot of those fights.
Oh, Cameron wants. Okay, you got to get Cameron in here. Let's do it, Cameron. Cameron wants to come in.
Yep. Oh, it was Sykes that took over for Meade. That's what it was. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, because when Meade took over the Army of the Potomac, Sykes became the 5th Corps commander. But yeah, there was debate on what was going on over here. Oh, holy crap! Here, I'll just throw the link out there.
Yeah, let's throw the link out. We're all good. Shardo, no join yet, man. Not tonight, man. We're talking about some serious stuff.
Yeah, I don't even see him saying anything about it right now.
Oh, yeah, he's in there.
But and this is where General Hill was trying to take Little Round Top. Mm-hmm. It was brutal. The Union had the high ground. They gave it the old heave ho, but it just wasn't enough.
No,
it was pretty brutal.
It was pretty much a brutal stalemate until pretty much July 3rd. Especially that first day. The first day was for sure in the Confederacy.
And here's another thing that you got to take into consideration too. You got to remember, this is July 1st. You're in the middle of summer, and they were actually going through.
Oh man,
it was a historically warm summer for.
And it was humid. Part. It was very humid, very.
And think
hot.
about this. Can you imagine fighting in all wool?
No
way, man.
No, man.
That's tough.
You and I both wore ACUs, man.
That was totally different, man. We
not
hear
even
you,
compared to wool. Holy shit.
Yep.
Well, we also have to Down at the Battle of Gettysburg was just a series of just circumstances just came out of nowhere because Lee
Pretty
wasn't
much, yeah.
for a fight. He didn't even know where the Union Army was.
Exactly.
No,
right.
he was so blind.
And that's one thing that Lee was never blind because he always had Jeb Stuart.
He was not used to not having his cavalry. That's why he was so angry at Stuart when Stuart finally came back to report the day after after the battle began. Well, towards the end of the day, actually, it was almost after dinner. They had dinner actually, and he comes in there and he goes, "What the? Like, where have you been?"
I'm sure he had some colorful music. I mean,
oh man,
no,
he
actually,
probably...
in the movie Gettysburg, it shows up a little bit more dramatic.
Yeah, it was a more dramatic. Yeah,
Lee was upset, but he saw after he had kind of scolded Stuart that he hurt his feelings, and
yes,
he was very cognitive of people's like
because he didn't want to lose them on the battlefield.
And he said, "It's all right. I want you to. I ask you to help me with these people now." And we have to understand that what Lee did with the Gettysburg campaign, this was his plan for the Antietam campaign.
Right.
Yeah.
So, 1 second, guys. Hold on.
No worries. No,
you're good, man.
But yeah, absolutely. That's one thing that Lee was. He never got caught with his pants down. Never did.
No, that was the first time for him.
It was, and honestly, it did have somewhat of an effect on the outcome of the battle, because usually you want to find that it's always about finding the best ground. And that's something that Lee was very good at doing, finding the best ground on which to fight upon.
Well, what's the old saying? Fight on your own terms.
And here's a different thing. He also had two different types of strategy within his own army. Longstreet was always a cautious guy. He was more of a defensive general. Let them attack you, and then
respond accordingly.
Right, and then you defend against it, then you counter. Lee was more aggressive. He wanted to go on the attack, and that is proven by days 2 and 3 of the Battle of Gettysburg. But yeah, day 2, you got down there. You got a little round top. That's where you hear the heroics of the 20th Maine. They were at the far end of the line. They were protecting the left flank of the Union Army, and if the Confederates were able to roll up that flank, what I mean by rolling up the flank is you come up here and you turn the flank, and now you can attack north while everyone else is facing to the west. You know, now they got to rearrange their lines as the Confederates are storming up north. Now, you know, you could get in a whole bunch of what ifs. You know, how much longer would they have been able to attack? But it would have definitely been issues for the Union Army.
This was they had turned the flank. Pretty much a whole battle of circumstance, and it happened to work out in the Union's favor.
Well, yeah, that and they had a lot.
At first, it wasn't. At first,
yeah, but they recovered pretty good. John Hancock, or not John Hancock. What am I talking about? Wilfred Hancock.
There you go.
He actually was a great general, and he got everything. He got all the lines straight, made sure everyone knew what they were supposed to be doing, and then this is before all the other corps were able to come up to fortify the Union Army there. But
well, Eric, there's actually a really funny story with that. Because when he comes up, he was the junior officer up command.
Yes.
Because it should have been Howard who was supposed to be put in the command out there. But Meade had known that Howard was just a terrible general. Remember, this is the guy that got his flank rolled up by Jackson
in Chancellorsville. Yes.
Because he didn't fortify himself and put his corps up in the air.
Correct.
So when Reynolds was killed, Meade just said, you know, and Meade had actually gotten permission from Lincoln to do this, because one of the biggest problems in the Potomac Army was that there was all this politic that Lincoln had to play with with date of command structure and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that Meade asked Lincoln when he took command, not when he took command, when he was giving command, was that, hey, I need to be able to make the decisions when it comes to who am I going to put in charge of my, of my subordinates, and I can't do it with taking rank into consideration. And Hancock handled it very well because Howard was like, well, you can't do that, Hancock. He's like, well, okay, General, why don't we just talk about it? You know, and then he kind of said, like, here's what we should do. What do you think, General Howard? Sorry,
In other words, no worries. In other words, he was just smoozing Howard so he could get him on his side. That's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
But essentially what was happening is Hancock was running the show until Meade could come up there. And there was a lot of bitterness about that because everyone thought, oh, this is because both these guys and Reynolds were from Pennsylvania, and Howard, I think, was from New York. So there was we have to understand.
Man, now you're getting into weeds there. Yeah, you're getting into the political generals and the affiliations of what state they're from, and yeah, dude, there was a lot of it
in both armies.
Yes.
Essentially, like why Longstreet was always kind of like before Gettysburg, everyone kind of thought Longstreet was kind of like the other lieutenant, and Longstreet and a lot of the other generals who weren't from Virginia were very cognitive of how much power Virginia had in the Army of Northern Virginia.
Mm-hmm. And yet, and I like how you mentioned that because this falls right in line with what was going on with Pemberton over in the Western Theater as well. You know, there were some issues in Richmond, and you know, do we want Pemberton to do this and do that? Joseph E. Johnson makes his appearance in the Western Theater. We'll get more into that in the Vicksburg. But yeah, man, there was a lot of politics that had to be navigated. Now, there wasn't too much politics in the Western Theater for the Union Army. That was pretty much once Henry Halleck left and went over to D.C. to become the general in charge of everybody. It was Grant's. It was Grant and Sherman's army, man. And then, of course, all their subordinates. But
to an extent, yeah, you're all right about that. To an extent, but the subordinates would always butt heads.
Yeah.
Hooker would be out there.
Oh, Hooker was just. Well, Hooker pissed so many people off, they sent him out to the West, too.
Yeah.
Yep. Same thing. Well, you could say the same thing that happened to Longstreet after the Battle of Gettysburg. He got sent out west.
Yeah.
That was by his own record. He wanted to go out and have his own command.
Yes, he did. And I think there's a lot of reports that talk about there were some disagreements between Lee and Longstreet as far as the tactics to be used, especially on day 3 of the battle.
Absolutely.
And then you hear a lot of the historians talk about that, where Longstreet basically drags his feet in getting some of this together.
I wouldn't. If I'd make the argument, Longstreet wasn't dragging his feet. Longstreet was trying to delay. Trying to hope that Lee would come to a sense like, oh, maybe we shouldn't attack, because we have to understand Longstreet just knew what
he knew what was coming,
rifle man. Well, he knew what the rifle could do because he's the guy at Fredericksburg with the stone wall. Yep. And he reminded Lee of that before he set the charge out. And here's the other thing. If it had been anyone but Hancock, they might have had a shot. But Hancock was not going to be moved.
No, correct.
If it was Howard, if it was possibly Sykes, if it was Sickles, Pickett's charge might have. I mean, there was no
way Pickett's charge was going to succeed. No way.
No,
but especially not with Hancock there.
Could you imagine being one of those soldiers and you know you're going to march to your death and oh my God.
The Southern soldiers had so much faith in Lee that they just thought that the old man says we can do it. If Mars Roberts says we can do it, we can do it.
What an amazing time in American history. You've got that much, what they call chutzpah, that you go out there and march line, lock and step with somebody next to you who, maybe was your neighbor, and you go out there.
You guys do know whose families fought in Pickett's charge, right?
Right, yeah.
Well, you guys do know who were some of the colonels who fought in Pickett's charge, right?
Well, one of them was actually a relative of mine. He was actually in charge. Well, he wasn't part of Pickett. Well, no, he was part of the artillery that was firing on Pickett during that time. It was his last name was Bingham.
Oh no, I'm talking about General Patton of World War II. His grandfather was part of Pickett's charge.
Yeah, that's right. I remember hearing some. Man, I bet you there's a lot of people who have probably relatives, especially if you grew up in either in the South or in the North, that you would have some relatives that took part in that the Battle of Gettysburg.
Yeah.
My
relatives were at Gettysburg.
What was that? I'm sorry.
My relatives were at Gettysburg.
Oh, no kidding. Nice. Yeah. Were they just civilians or were they fighting?
No, they were in the Army.
Which one? What side?
They were from Georgia, and so they fought under my great grandfather was in the Georgia 8th and fought under Anderson under Hood. He was in the peach orchard.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You know what? I take that back. Hood was a division. He was the division commander, right?
He was
under Longstreet. He's the one that took a part. Yeah, the 8th weren't. Yeah, I was gonna say they were a part of.
He was tasked to take Devil's Den, Little Round Top, and the peach orchard and the wheat field.
Wasn't it it was the Georgians and the Texans, if I'm not mistaken. Man, there's a lot more people who could get down to the molecular level as far as there's people out there that know the exact regiment.
Oh man, they know the time, the seconds of everything, every movement these guys
American
made.
Battlefield Trust, man. You go listen
to
those
man,
guys,
yes. You guys, if you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm pretty sure they haven't done it already. They will do a Gettysburg special.
They've already started. Yeah, they
already started. Okay, yeah.
Well, the guys who went up to Little Round Top they were from Alabama. So
Alabamians, that's right.
That was Oates' brigade.
And it was Alabamans and Texans, correct?
Yeah.
Mostly just Alabamans.
Yeah.
They gave them the old.
I'm almost positive there was one Texas regiment or a couple.
Yeah. And then up on the hill, you had Rice's. That was crazy for the Union being up there. I mean, they lost a lot of their commanders up on Little Round Top. Rice went down.
There was a lieutenant colonel, a colonel. They were there all. There's a famous rock. There's a famous rock where they were laying on.
The guy from Harvard, I forget the guy's name. Goodness. Oh, Strong Vincent went.
Vincent, that's right.
A lot of them it was some of the most brutal fighting of the war. And Chamberlain, the college professor, the good old history and physics teacher, didn't have much about military experience, but he knew what to do, and he called for a textbook maneuver of the bayonet charge right down the hill. And that hill is steep. I'd say it's a good 15% incline to 20% incline. It's a steep hill. Eric, you been up that hill?
No, one of these days I'll get out.
Oh, it's steep, man. It is steep.
They just reopened a Little Round Top, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just got reopened because it was down for like 2-3 years for it to be renovated and all.
Will, you ever been up to Gettysburg?
No, I've never been.
Yeah. I've been 3 times.
Actually, as you were asking me. That's kind of weird, but whatever.
I got to get out there.
I've been 3 times.
Oh man,
Devil's Den. You just look at it going,
does it feel
who
weird?
in the hell would attack this position?
Mm-hmm.
And then you think about it. What the hell was Sickles thinking, leaving this position and going a half a mile?
He was going up. Oh, you know what? It's funny. A great guide over there at Gettysburg, Matt Atkinson.
Yeah.
He talks about that, of why Sickles advanced his corps, like a sore thumb out there. Because what happened was, in the Battle of Chancellorsville, he was ordered to vacate the high ground.
Yeah.
And that is something that he would always remember. He's like, why? We got our asses whooped because you told me to vacate the high ground. Well, when he was there in Gettysburg and he was sitting there on Cemetery Ridge, he was looking out ahead of him towards the peach orchard, and he's like, that's the high ground. We're at the low ground, and if the Confederates take the peach orchard, or not the peach orchard, but that region within there, they're going to be able to fire their artillery right down on. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to advance. Like, supposedly he'd sent runners to me to let him know what was going on, but who knows? Anyways, he stuck out like a sore thumb, and then
Well, that's what Hancock said. When someone went up to Hancock, going, "General, see what they're doing?" Like, yeah, just wait a minute, you'll see them come running back.
Yeah, but because he was stretched so thin, I mean, if he did have more men, I guess it would have made more sense. But they were spread so thin when the Confederates began their march. Yeah, that was pretty much the end of it right there.
Well, I know we all like going to play the what if games.
Yeah,
If if Jackson, I guarantee you, the battle would have gone completely different if Jackson had been alive. Not in terms of whether I think the Union. I actually don't think the battle would have occurred, because I think if Jackson had been alive, he would have taken the Cemetery Ridge the night of the 1st, because the problem that happened was that Ewell was told, like, take that hill, it's practical. But Ewell had never been used to having direct. He's always used.
That's how Lee always directed his orders. That's the problem. He was never specific.
Ewell was not used to that.
No, he wasn't.
Because Jackson was very much. Sorry, guys, I gotta go.
No, you're good, Cam.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyways, what do we got here? Oh, we're still in the second day. But yeah, the second day was crazy. We're back to this Little Round Top. Confederates try to take Little Round Top. If you can see that area where it says the peach orchard and the wheat field, the Confederates were able to take that area. They pushed the Union back. The Third Corps, man, they took some serious punishment because they were stuck out in the wind. I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think the Confederates held that ground. They wound up going back, which set up the time for the third day. But what the heck is going on here, man? Things flying all over the place, man.
It's all good. No, it's done. Oh, sorry. I don't mean to apologize.
No worries. It's all good.
I do apologize to the chat. I let that one slip. Yeah, there's some BS. But anyway, so no, let's continue with the mission here. Drive on, as we say in the Army. Romo name now is History Man. Yeah, he is the History Man. That's for sure.
But anyway,
sorry, PK. I hit the microphone on accident.
But there was also there's a big battle up there in the north at Culp's Hill. Confederates try to take that because that high ground. Again, it's all about taking the land. It's all about having the ground to be able to fight on. And if you have the high ground, especially back in the day, I guess that's true in any combat. When you have the high ground, you were at an advantage. It may have not always mean that you still got to command, you still got to lead your men.
Right.
But yeah.
Don't forget, they charged Chamberlain how many times?
Oh, yeah. There was a bunch.
They almost wore Chamberlain out. They were down,
and he did something that was kind of unusual, where he charged with a They had a bayonet
charge, and the Union was not known for that.
No, they weren't.
That was
running downhill is a whole lot better than running uphill.
Oh, hell yeah! You and I have done that before many times.
Especially if you're, giving the war cry. But yeah, he was able. He turned his unit at a 90-degree to protect again, because the South were trying to flank him. So he put his regiment in a 90-degree. Then when time came, just like a swinging door, they swung around. When he gave the command, they swung around, and down they went, and off the Confederates went off of Little Round Top. And Little Round Top was able to be saved, and the Union's left flank was protected. There at Culp's Hill, back to there, that was some issues, man. Hancock had his hands full on that second day. He had to continue to send in regiments to backfill, because he had. Let me get back so I can point. There was a bunch of regiments along the line here at Cemetery Ridge. He had to send them over here to Culp's Hill, because you had the Confederacy back over here trying to take that high ground.
They tried.
And they were able to prevent the Confederacy to be able to do that. So it was pretty cool.
Now, one thing to keep in mind too, people, when you look at this map, you see in both the Confederate and the Union lines, there are houses and settlements between all of this. There was literally people living in these houses at the time, and they were told to evacuate.
Yeah, they were told to leave. Yeah. As a matter of fact, there's a story of the oldest civilian to fight in the battle. He was
he picked up his rifle because he was getting tired of getting
yeah,
shot
matter
at.
of fact, he was up north. He was up there in the northern part, in the northwestern part of Gettysburg. But here, we'll get into the third day here in a minute. Who is this? Jimmy Rizzo. Who is Jimmy Rizzo? Let's check this guy out.
Jimmy Rizzo.
Hey, what's up, Jimmy Rizzo?
I guess maybe I'll just come online to maybe.
Hold on a second. I know Jimmy.
No. The gentleman that said, hold on a second, please give me a chance to talk.
All right. Keep talking.
The guy with the glass on, I love you, my motherfucker. And also the guy below him, I love you too. So maybe let's all be reasonable and have a lovely day. I said, really?
Thank you, Jimmy. IP2, bro. I know you. I mean,
IP2, my motherfucker. Yes.
Jimmy, are you from? What part of the other side of the pond are you from, my friend? I don't remember.
I guess, my friend, I'm from your mommy's womb of love.
What is this?
Jimmy, we got raided by Jimmy Rizzo. Holy shit.
Not necessarily. I've had a bit too much to drink tonight, my motherfucker. And also the guy at the top of the room, my bitch boy, motherfucking cocksucker. Yes, you with the white teeth and the spectacles wearing.
Oh, you're talking about Eric.
He's talking about me. Yeah, he's talking about me.
Oh. Yeah, I'm talking about that, motherfucker. Yeah, the guy with the white teeth, my bastard. And no, I do apologize for calling you a bastard.
No, you're all good, Jimmy. I know who you are. You're good.
I know I'm all good, but by the way there, by the way there, the guy with spectacles on, please, can I fuck your mommy up the asshole?
This guy, Jimmy. All right, we got it.
No all right, Jim. That was appreciate that. That was awesome. Thank you for the compliments of my white teeth. And
no problem, my little gay boyfriend.
Jimmy.
All right, there was Jimmy Rizzo. I don't even know what that was.
I know Jimmy. Jimmy is Jimmy's a good. He don't mean nothing by none of that shit.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, he was having one. Where'd you find this guy? No, Jimmy's been actually in our chat before. You see him post. He decided to hop on our show and.
All right then. Now we can get to the third day.
Oh, hold on.
I'm the white teeth spectacle wearing mother.
Mother F. Yeah. G-A-Y and all. Jimmy, appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show. We blessed with your presence. He actually has a good radio. By the way, Jimmy Rizzo does have a good radio show that he does during the daytime. But he's a drunken Englishman, and that's what we got, man. We got a drunken Englishman. Anyway, continue.
That was nuts.
That was sorry, PK. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting I got a new microphone. I'll put it over here. All right, we're good now. I might cancel myself out. There we go. Yeah. My bad. No. Jimmy's good people, PK. Don't hate on him. He's all right. You don't mean nothing by that. He was just like he said, he was drunk. Wow.
Anyways, the third day, that was the famous Pickett's charge.
There you go.
Get into that. My goodness.
Shut the fuck up, Cryptic. You ain't 12 years old.
When day 1 and day 2 couldn't work out for the Confederacy, they went after the what do you want to call that?
Well,
finale, I guess you want to call it the grand finale.
They didn't really have any option. It was either win or try to go all in or not, really.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think there was some conversations between Longstreet and Lee on whether or not, hey, maybe
Longstreet did not want to do that. Longstreet I think he actually voiced his opinion and he was admonished, but being a good soldier, he said, "Okay, well,
he followed his orders, yes, sir.
I'll follow the lead, and we'll go to." There was a loose quote, and it's not. Don't quote me verbatim, but it was something along the lines like, "Hey, if we do this, we're gonna lose,"
Mm.
and they went ahead and did it anyway.
But yeah, you could see the center of the line right here. Let me bring that back up. Where is it at? There we go. You had all these guys lined up, ready to go, march against Cemetery Ridge. Actually, I don't think it was that. Was it that far up? It might have been that far up. I don't think it was that far. I could be wrong though. And they gave it all. They marched across the open fields right into the teeth of the Union Army, who are waiting behind fortifications, a little bit of stone wall, bunch of artillery. And yeah, there was no chance.
And in case you guys, the brutality of war is amazing, and I'll give you some.
And that's back in the day where the brigade commanders and the regiment commanders would be out in front with their sword.
Yeah,
leading the way, man.
All the battalion commanders would be out there. Yeah. And just so you guys know the brutality of this whole thing, when Pickett did his charge, the Union loaded their guns with canister rounds. These guys were getting blown away bit by bit by a big old freaking shotgun. No, thank you. I want no part of that.
Let me see.
Jimmy, thanks for coming on, man. You're a legend. I know you're a streamer legend. I know who you are. Are you a Giants fan, bro? Like, why do you watch us of all mother effers, as you said in your own color?
I couldn't understand half of the things he was saying.
Oh, I could hear. I listened. I actually listened to Jimmy. I know his radio show and stuff.
Oh, what kind of radio show is this?
He does everything, and then he does a lot of BSing, and he talks about things that are going on in the world. He's not I like Jimmy. And that's why I was surprised. I'm like, what, Jimmy Rizzo? No shit, he's in here. Okay.
Is he out is he in the UK? Is that where he's at?
Yeah, he's in England. He's 8 hours ahead of us. I don't know why the hell he was in here. Well, he said he was drunk, so there you go.
Man, that's early in the morning. I think it was an AM over there, isn't it?
Yeah,
early.
What is it,
very AM.
It's got to be like 5 o'clock in the morning over there.
Whew.
He called you a MF. He seemed to like me, but he didn't like you at all, man. What the hell?
No, not at all.
We got to change that up. Why don't you like Eric? I don't see why nobody. I like you.
It's all good, man.
Whatever.
Been called worse by better. Been called worse by better.
Yeah, you're right, Jimmy. Don't shit on Eric too much, man. I got you back on this one. Just don't poo-poo on him.
The lesser known or underrated films, the Civil War. Oh, wow.
Oh, D-Shot, you missed the entry of Jimmy Rizzo. Jimmy Rizzo decided to pay us a visit, and that was actually kind of funny.
Gosh, Cliff, that's a good one. Lesser known or underrated films about the Civil War.
Oh, films? There's not a whole lot of Civil War films that are worth the shit. Which in my personal opinion is a farce.
And talking about underrated and lesser known.
Shit, what do we have?
I'm trying to think.
Well, okay. This isn't really yeah, I guess it is. I guess it really is. Gods and Generals.
Yeah, I guess that would be kind of lesser known. Gods and Generals. It
didn't have the impact that it was supposed to have. It really is a lesser known film.
It was the same makers of Gettysburg.
Right, and it's not too bad. It's a sequel to Gettysburg. No.
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel. Excuse me, I fucked that one up. I apologize, guys. Other than that, one thing I could tell you this though, Cliff. If you want to watch a really good series on the Civil War, go watch The Civil War by Ken Burns.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. You know what? I know what. Here you go.
What the hell else do we have out there?
I tell you what, you go instead of films. Here, hold on 1 second.
History Channel had a pretty good series about 10 years ago. They had a good series.
Hold on 1 second.
Negative, Mark. I've seen. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, my bad. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Keep talking. That's fine. I'm just gonna.
Oh, okay. No, Mark, I haven't seen. There we go. That's my favorite general of all time. His name is also William.
Yes. I'll get into this. Are you? Did you make your point? You're all good.
Go for it, man.
All right, here we go.
I'll talk later.
Check this out, Cliff. Go to this guy's YouTube called Stuff Writer. What he does is he goes to these different battlefields and they go on what they call battle walks. And it's either an author or I guess you could say a certified guide who knows about the battle, or it's actually a National Park Service guide. As a matter of fact, there it is right there with Matt Atkinson. The dude is fantastic. Matt Atkinson is awesome, man. And he's a huge Baltimore Orioles fan. You'll hear him talk about it during the walks. But there's something down here that you might want to check out. Where is it at in videos? It's something I think you'll like. It's specifically right here. Jackson's Valley Campaign. There's 3 parts. There's part 1, part 2, and part 3. It's not really a movie, but it's kind of a movie through YouTube, I guess you would say. It's something that this guy put together. It really breaks down what Stonewall Jackson did in the Shenandoah Valley, which was fantastic. It's early part of the war. Like I said, it's all about what he did in the Shenandoah Valley and how he thwarted the Union Army, even though he was outnumbered drastically. It's pretty fantastic. But as you can see, you see all these battle walks, and it's just, you learn something all the time by watching these things. Like I said, it's not necessarily movies, but you're getting legitimate historical type stuff. It's not just Hollywood stuff. But yeah, check this guy out. Stuff Writer. I think you'll enjoy it. Ken Burns, Civil War, dude. Whew. That is the epic one right there. I mean, it gets into so much stuff.
I had to put that out there, man. Jimmy Rizzo, thank you for showing.
Is he a famous guy or something? I have no idea.
No, yeah, he's very well known. Yeah,
is he really? Let me see.
No bullshit. No, yeah, he's known, man, in the live stream community. He's a pretty cool guy. He's all right.
What's this? Hold on, I'm trying to find.
I put the link in the chat. It's just Jimmy Rizzo.
Does it? Let me see. Hold on, let me see.
Jimmy Rizzo 23. He's all right. How the hell did you find this? Jimmy,
if I just type in Jimmy Rizzo in YouTube, I'm seeing nothing.
Jimmy, how did you find this? Do you know me from IP2 at all? I mean, like, I've done a few things, but like I don't know. That was weird. I was not expecting to see Jimmy. I wish Andrew Bell was here because Andrew Bell's a Celtics fan. I'm sure you are too, Jim. I think you are.
Mark Ray says, "Have we ever seen Napoleon?" Nope, never saw Napoleon. I heard.
No. And I was actually going to talk about that. That was going to be my point. If you want to actually see a really good depiction of the last few years of Napoleon, watch Waterloo. It's free on YouTube. You can watch it in 4K. It came out in 1970. So well done. It's the battle between Wellington, the Duke of Wellington, which we all know, and Napoleon Bonaparte, and Blucher. Blucher was involved as well, who was Prussian general.
Yes, Prussian.
That movie is
Waterloo,
PK. I'm sorry, I kind of mumble.
I heard it. You're fine.
I have a really monotone voice, so I got to be careful. It is so well done. In fact, the actual cavalry charges in that whole thing, the troop formation, there's no CGI in this movie. There's no bullshit. It's a legit 7,000 Russian soldiers volunteered to be part of this movie. And oh man, it is amazing. Shit. Yeah, that's it. Waterloo.
Water L-O-O, Waterloo.
It is an amazing movie. It's 2 hours of your time, very well spent, and it's free on YouTube. Do it, watch it. Screw whatever the hell came out not too, yeah. Anyways, not too long ago. But anyways,
All righty then.
we shall continue.
Whew, you know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to get into Vicksburg. I'm getting tired already, dude. I wanted to, but maybe we'll leave that to another day.
Well, there's a little bit of a side issue going on.
No, it's not even that. It's just I've been talking a lot.
Did you do the show? Was there a show today? Did you do a show?
No, because it was an off day today.
Oh, yeah. Well, it makes sense to go on today. Was anybody, before we get on out of here, you guys got any questions for us? Or
But anyways, after Pick a Straw real quick, I guess we finish this up. Pick a Straw, that was it. That's when Lee decided, you know what? I'm looking to see what's going on here. It's time to go. And he retreated. He's lucky he didn't get obliterated by the Union. The Union decided not to follow. There's some arguments on whether or not that was a right thing or wrong thing to do because, yeah, both armies were pretty spent. I don't know if the Union Army had the.
That's a nice debate right there, actually.
Yep.
Because the wagon train actually went up further north during the retreat.
Oh yeah, there was a huge wagon train leaving because of the wounded and all that stuff.
Right.
They had a chance. As a matter of fact, they were supposed to. They were chasing them. They didn't want them to get across.
They could have attacked Lee again,
but they let him get across the river. Once he got across the river, he was gone.
It was done. It was done and dusted. That was it. They could have ended the whole 1862, right? Was it 61? McClellan could have chased them back and
from Antietam. Yeah.
In 1863, they let them go again. It's all hindsight, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways.
Alrighty, guys. Man, I appreciate you guys showing up. A little bit of shorter show, man. It's just today was a long day. It was hot. And I'm freaking tired. It's one of those days, man. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining. No, there will be not a 4th of July show. It's going to be like 100 and freaking something over here, 109 or something like that. I don't even know what people are going to do during the holidays, to be honest with you. That's going to be, that's hard. You can't really enjoy yourself in the outdoors when it's over 100 damn degrees.
Have an air conditioner, man. It's so boring.
Exactly. Alrighty, guys. Until the next time, I don't know. Maybe the next time we go on is maybe when Israel invades Lebanon.
Which is probably going to happen pretty soon by the looks of things, guys.
Yeah, maybe in a couple of weeks or so. Anyways, thanks, Will. Appreciate it, dude. We'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.